Hello, I'm Adam Blair. I'm the editor of Retail Touchpoints. We're here at the NRF Big Show in New York City on January 13th, 2020. And I'm here talking to Jonas Stillman, who is the Director of Retail Systems at Office Depot, and Rob Armstrong, who's VP of Portfolio Marketing for Zebra Technologies. Guys, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
I'm very interested in this deployment of mobile computing for retail and supply chain that Office Depot has been talking about here at the event. So, Jonas, let's start with you. What were some of the reasons that Office Depot wanted to get more mobile computing, into the hands of your associates? What was the business reason for it?
Yeah, great question. So, overarching, we wanted to provide our associates with a tool that made our stores easier to operate and allowed them to reduce the time they actually spend doing tasks that aren't customer focused.
Gotcha.
By leveraging these devices that we've deployed, we've actually been able to do that. And we've seen store associates move from what was a task over to customer facing activity.
Okay, and what was the process like in terms of selecting the provider and the technology solution for you, for Office Depot?
Yeah, definitely. So, about a year ago, we had a fleet of aging devices that we had to make a decision on what we were going to do with. So typically when we have a fleet of hardware that's coming due to be replaced, we go through an RFP process. We looked at a few different vendors and a few different pieces of hardware, and after a thorough testing and a thorough feedback process through our stores and our testing and pilot process, we found that the Zebra TC51 devices actually best fit our needs in our retail stores.
And Rob, in terms of Zebra's participation with Office Depot and supplying this, what kinds of elements of the technology were important to Office Depot, and how did that affect their choice and decision?
Yeah, I'd say that our legacy within the retail industry, understanding of retail workflows, we've now been in business for 50 years, which we think is really powerful, and retail is our number one vertical that we serve and we work with many tier one retailers across the world. I think we can now take that and put it into the purpose-built design in our devices like the TC51 that's been deployed by Office Depot. But it's not just about the hardware and the ruggedness and the durability, but it's about the software, making it easier for IT to be able to manage and deploy. And that's really built on our expertise in Android mobile computing. We have almost 70% share in the worldwide market for Android mobile computing. And we're really excited about being able to bring that value now to Office Depot for the retail associates in the front of store and in the supply chain and warehouse.
Right, I don't want to forget that it's also being used not just in the stores at the customer facing side, but in the supply chain. But let's start with the stores, let's dig in a little bit more. What would you say is the main use that your store associates are using the technology for within the store environment?
Yeah, definitely. So our stores, it's kind of evenly balanced between operational tasks and customer-facing activities. From a use perspective, I kind of alluded to before that we want our stores and our associates doing everything they can to spend time with our customers. A suite of applications, though, that we've built in Android for the TC51 are designed to automate a lot of legacy processes that we used to have. So previous to these devices, we had a lot of processes where we literally printed out a piece of paper, store associates would put it on a clipboard, and you can think of how antiquated that was. What the Android platform on TC51 has kind of allowed us to do in the stores is to really enable the development effort and the innovation that we can now take those legacy processes, consolidate them into an automated app environment, and cut time out from what the stores were doing.
How about in the supply chain? Are they being used in your distribution centers or warehouses?
Correct. So we have 100 warehouses between distribution centers. We have satellite facilities. We have cross docks. They were on a legacy Windows CE platform, and kind of a similar story in the supply chain. They had devices that were coming end of life. We understood that we needed to get off the Windows CE platform, like a lot of retailers are now coming to that realization. And we wanted to go to a unified platform from a form factor and a hardware perspective. They're actually using a mix of TC51 and TC56s.
Okay.
56s are being used in our delivery fleet for final mile, and the 51s are being used in our warehouses. They have about 3,500 units across 100 warehouses, and we have about 7,500 units of TC51 across 1,306 retail stores.
Wow. That's a major deployment. So I understand there was a lot of cooperation in terms of how the deployment was actually done that help cut down on some of the training time or training efforts. Could either Rob or Jonas, can you fill me in on that?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about just the familiarity of the operating system. Pretty much anybody that's doing any job typically is going to have now a personal device that is either running Android or iOS. And that familiarity of the interface makes it very, very easy for someone to be able to pick up a device and know how to interact it at a basic level. Now we take Android and we also enrich it with what we call mobility DNA, which is a set of software tools, applications, and utilities that are really meant to help the worker use that device from a purpose-built perspective in the workflows that they would typically see, whether that be in a DC or in a retail environment. All that mobility DNA software and the device itself, built on now a hardened, secure Android operating system, becomes available to either an in-house development team or a third-party independent software vendor to then leverage those in order to develop end-user-facing applications that fit into that particular retail workflow. And that's exactly what the team at Office Depot has done.
Yeah. So you did in-house development of the applications, Jonas? I mean, not you personally, but Office Depot.
I'm multi-talented. We actually have an in-house team of Android developers that develop in React Native, and we find that from an agile perspective, having those in-house developers really allows us to be quick to market when we come up with enhancements, new ideas. We actually have an application on the device, you know, talking about being purposely built and being intuitive. Everyone's got a smartphone. Our store associates understand there's very little training that has to go into it. But we also understand that our store associates have the best ideas, and we may not think of everything from corporate. So we actually have an enhancement in the application where the stores can go in, tell us what we can do better. We actually look at that feedback every single week so we can understand what we can do to continue enhancing the environment, to continue enhancing the customer experience by enhancing our store user experience for our associates.
That's great, and that's something that's so easy to forget, that the people who are actually on the front lines interacting with customers, they're going to both think of questions and issues that you may not have, and also potential solutions. Yeah. If I'm a customer going into Office Depot, am I going to notice a difference in the service or the shopper experience because of this, or is it just going to be the great Office Depot experience? Quicker or less friction? Is there going to be a noticeable difference?
Yeah, so obviously customer experience is extremely important to us. We measure Net Promoter Score as well as overall customer satisfaction. It's a metric that we watch very closely and trying to understand where our customers are telling us that we may not be doing such a great job. And where we know our customers want us to do better, or where they wanted us to do better in, was customer interaction on the sales floor, finding someone who can assist when they need help. And what we've seen is an improvement in that core metric, right? Our customers are telling us that associates are far more available when they need help. And by the way, when they find an associate, that associate can answer their question because they're enabled and empowered by these devices.
Right. So with the devices, they're able to get specific information about specific SKUs and products?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Everything that we sell, not just what's in the store, right? Stores can only carry about 10,000 items. Our website can carry hundreds of thousands of items. So within the palm of their hands, they can go into an application that we built for them that doesn't just show store inventory and store product, but also what we sell through our e-commerce platforms as well.
Yeah. If you think about it, somebody coming into a store is going to have a lot of information, right? Maybe they've looked online before they came in.
Sure.
Maybe they're actually looking while they're in the aisle, while they're in the store, on their device. If a shopper has more information at their fingertips than an associate does, that's not necessarily a balanced equation. That's not going to let that retailer with that brick and mortar center allow them to service the customer and provide value on top of what they can already see online. So it's all about taking information, democratizing it to the edge, allowing your front of store associates to more focus and engage with shoppers as they come in, rather than focus on what's necessarily on the shelf.
Got it. Okay. So you're able to some extent, personalize each interaction because the people have the answers at their fingertips, literally.
Exactly.
Okay, great. What I'll just finish up by asking, what do you see going forward? Obviously, this is a huge deployment. What will you be looking for in terms of results or benefits? And then, I'd ask Rob, how do you see the relationship with Office Depot continuing? But it starts with you, Jonas.
Yeah, sure. So, the nature of these devices, they're smart computing, right? So if you think of your own cell phone, apps come out every single day. Sky's the limit. We're looking at the devices the exact same way, right? And that's the beauty of Android and the beauty of having a ruggedized device for our environment. So some of the bigger things we have on the horizon, we're looking at VoIP technology for our stores, right? A lot of our stores have legacy telephone systems.
No kidding, okay.
So we're going to look to transitioning that over to a VoIP system through our TC51s. There's Workforce Connect, there's push to talk. There's a whole avenue of different pathways that we can go down to help make our stores easier to operate, right? Our overarching strategy is make it so the stores are so easy to operate that they don't have to worry about the operations, and all they have to focus in on is helping our customers, plain and simple. I'm not getting any more labor to run these buildings, but what I can do is make them easier to operate, take out waste, be more efficient, and by doing that through these tools that we've helped, that Zebra's helped us to deploy in our stores.
That's great. And Rob, where do you, that's an ambitious potential set of pathways.
Yeah.
Is Zebra ready for that?
Yeah, we're excited about it. I mean, it is a partnership. It's all about, let's pick a problem, solve a problem, prove an ROI, take the return, take the savings from that, put that into the next project that you're going to go and deploy. And so we've been lucky enough to be partners with Office Depot now, both in the front of store and in the back of store, proof of delivery. We have a whole booth full of solutions that we'd love to continue to deploy with Office Depot and other tier 1 retailers. But
I have my eye on a few of them. So.
Yeah. And for us, our vision is what we call enterprise asset intelligence, which is making sure that every worker and every asset on the edge is visible, connected, and optimally utilized. And that exactly lines up with the types of solutions that you're looking to deploy to make that store easier to operate, allow those associates to engage with shoppers, and not have to worry with all the task types of stuff. So we're excited about the partnership.
Excellent. All right. Well, Jonas and Rob, I really want to thank you for your time today. This has been fascinating. And thanks to everybody for watching.